Load. Today we're going to be building a starter tent for when you just get into a new world. You'll need 1 oak log, this is easy, 7 torches, 20 fences, 8 stripped, it could be full, 3 planks, your basic starting equipment, campfire's optional, a bed, and some gravel. This is for a floor, so you can use sand. Then of course you have the main components. I used wool, but you can use leaves in the same pattern as well, because this entire thing is based around shears. These things are cheap, just 2 iron, and you can get as much as you want, and in any oak biome, it's not a problem. Okay, and now the first thing that you want to do is find a nice place to build it out. Here I'm going to choose an area near what would be a lake, which is fresh water. I'm going to put out just a full log, just as an end point, so I can measure out. Then you're going to build out your main frame here. I'm starting with stripped logs because I prefer them. You could use full logs. I'm going to build 4 blocks up, that's 3 fences, and then you're going to start the tent pattern, which is 1 on top, 2 on the sides, and then just a flared base here, so you have an entry and exit point without being blocked in. This way you can have the entrance on either side. Then you're going to put a little lip over it, so it gives it a little depth. Now, when building out the original frame, you're just going to want to pull this pattern out all the way to about 10 blocks. That would leave with 12 on either side in total. This is going to total to about a stack and a half, a little bit more, because later on we're going to have some modifications in order to fit everything in properly. So yeah, let's just continue this pattern all the way down. Now, I've chosen wool because it makes sense for tents, and because in a plains biome, especially near oak, you can get a lot of white wool very quickly from just shearing wild sheep. You don't even have to have tamed sheep in order to do this. Now, as you're building it out, you have to think about whether you want this to be a central tent where it's just expanded in the middle, which is what I'm going to do by just expanding out here a bit, possibly hollowing out the bottom a bit, or if you want just one side of the tent to be larger than the other, and then moving the campfires to that side to make it look like it's being held up by a third post. You can also put more fences on the internal roof, on the inside, if you want to hang lanterns or just make it look more structurally sound. I'm just going to add some wooden blocks, probably some oak logs, just to give it a bit more depth. So inside we go, and I think I'm just gonna cut out these top 2 blocks here and just expand it a little bit, like that. And now this in total totals to just this all totals to 100 wool blocks in total. And it's good practice to put lights up inside, so you see it doesn't connect to a fence. So I'm going to put a stripped log just on either side, so we have lights and that there's no spawn problems. And now the floor comes next, which I've chosen gravel for, but you could use sand or even just path dirt. Now, aside from your basic crafting points and just blocking off this end, because I've chosen the front to be my entrance, so I'll put some fences here so you can see through them. It's useful. A lot cheaper than windows, especially if you don't have access to glass. And now, the next step is campfires, because having just a cheap fuel source in the early game is really useful, especially if you're hunting and things and you haven't set up a proper food garden, especially if you're not close to villages at the start. So you can see here I'm going to haul out the top so the smoke can move through, and I'm just going to put a campfire down, recessed into the ground, into the middle, so you can walk around it without stepping on it and taking damage, so it's not a problem. And then I'm going to cover the ground in gravel. Now, this is an aesthetic reason, primarily, but it also has a second reason, because if you are not paying attention, and you're just, say, stood in the corner on the other side of the tent, you're not paying attention, and a creeper's seen you through the fence and is pathing through the other side, you can hear the moment that a creature starts stepping on the gravel, because it's louder and sounds very different to dirt. I've got a bit of gravel outside as well, so it might be good to just clear that out. But for now, I'm going to set up a little bit of a sheep farm here, because though it is easy just to go around shearing sheep, it is also good practice just to keep tamed animals close by in order for a renewable thing in case there's any damage, or you ever want to just stockpile some wool. Now, just gonna add the sheep in. Yes, you'd probably need to just grow a small wheat patch just to tame them in, or you could use boats to get them in there. So this is about the completed thing. This is just a standard little explorer's base camp, and I'll be doing different types of buildings later on as well. But this is going to just be your first little thing, just so it doesn't look like a dirt shack, but it's about on par with it. Here's just what it looks like at night, with the smoke coming out and a little bit of sheep on the outside. You see, it is well lit up on both sides, so you're not going to have monsters just waiting for you when you get home, but it is still possible to bring things with you when you come home. So this is just the inside, and